Hey guys, how's everybody? I hope you're all having a really nice week. Thanks again for watching all of my vlogs, and I really appreciate the views and the comments that I get, so really thank you to you guys. Today I am gonna switch it up entirely, and I don't even know how to kind of go about starting this conversation, but I mean, I'm just going to go straight into it. As you guys probably know, today is World Mental Health Day 2017, Tuesday, the 10th of October. So, what I wanted to talk about today was my experience with bullying growing up and how that affected me. And yeah, so I guess I'm just going to go straight for it. I'm going to go from the beginning and I'm going to try and keep it as brief as I can to keep you all engaged in the story. So, yeah, basically, when I look back to growing up and going to school, I had a really good time. Everything kind of started to go downhill around fifth class in primary school. I remember it as clear as day. It was like a schoolyard argument between a few kids, which really escalated, and over a couple of weeks, it really just turned into me being entirely isolated, basically, from my entire class. Anyone that I spoke to had cut me off. I had very few people to even speak to throughout the day. And from that point, it kind of just spiraled. Going into sixth class, things again got a lot worse. So I was being called gay, I was being called a faggot all the time. I loved High School Musical, still have no shame in that. That was a big thing to a lot of these people, that I liked that and that I was into that kind of thing. So obviously things that they're not comfortable with, they're going to want to attack because they aren't kind of understanding where I'm coming from. By the end of the year, I had people saying that I was going to rape them and that they would run away from me screaming, saying I was going to rape them. And I didn't even know what that meant at the time, if I'm honest. And I remember calling my mom and telling her that. And my parents were so angry. And yeah, at the end of sixth class, did my confirmation, went back for a day or two, and then things just really just continued to be horrendous. So I actually didn't return for the last couple of weeks of sixth class because I just couldn't do it anymore. It was a lot to take and I just needed a break, really. So yeah, I had an early summer and I was super happy about it. I had a couple of weeks extra off, which was great. So over the summer of sixth class, obviously going into secondary school, it's like a whole new world. And I remember being such a naive kid, and I remember having conversations with my dad like, no, it's going to be fine. I'm going to make so many new friends. Like, everything's going to have been dropped over the summer. I couldn't have been more wrong. It got so bad. A lot of schools obviously come together in first year, so we had a lot of different schools coming in. And from the get-go, a lot of people were kind of bad mouthing me and saying things to other people, and then none of those people wanted to speak to me anymore. And I was alone pretty much from the start. I had a few people I would speak to, but nobody I could kind of go to, or whenever something would happen, it would be so embarrassing that I wouldn't want to talk about it because I wouldn't want to come off like a victim, that kind of person. In first year, obviously, you pick your subjects. I had to actually leave a subject because I did woodwork, and some of the people in the class would throw wood at me, and the abuse was pretty much never ending, start to finish, of that class. That teacher denied everything, said that nothing went on in that class. He didn't witness anything when it was right in front of his face. In second and third year, I would go home for lunch because I lived pretty close by. And I would try and leave as quick as I could because people would scream abuse at me in front of everybody when I was walking home. They would throw things at me. Little breaks, I would pace the school trying to look busy because I didn't want to be left sitting on my own at a table where I was a victim, where you could come up to me and just literally sit there and go hell for leather at me. And I had one situation actually one time where I was sitting at one of the desks in the area, and a bunch of guys actually came up behind me and duct taped my face in front of everybody. And the teacher who was looking in that area saw everything, came over. I took it off my face, obviously. I'm not going to leave it there. And he was like, "You all right?" I'm like, "Not really." And that was it. Nothing was said, didn't care, didn't do anything. And I still see that teacher to this day, as many of them I do. And yeah, it's pretty fucked up, if I'm honest. Every day, every corner I would turn, it would be faggot, you're gay, kill yourself. People would shove into me all the time. Um, There was a lot. There was a lot of stuff. You just can't escape it. You're in this building from 9 in the morning until 4, and then you get home and it's still on your mind because of all the things that you had to deal with throughout the day. As you can hear, it's still kind of, whew, it's still kind of hard to talk about. Every corner I turned, there was something said. Everyone knew who I was. Everybody had something against me. They didn't like that my interests were so different to theirs. Like, I had the most incredible life outside of school. I have the most incredible family. I had the most amazing friends. I was going places they would never go. I was meeting people they'd never meet. All of these things they knew and they didn't like, so that's more of a reason to kind of attack me. One of the worst situations I had was when one of the teachers on the bullying committee, really like bullying committee, knocked on the door. I was in geography class and he called me out of the class, "Can I see Adam?" in front of everybody, which was already so humiliating. You're only being called out for one reason when they ask you out of the class, you know, so everyone knew what was going on and I was so embarrassed. So I went outside to talk about a situation that happened that day. And this teacher, he said to me that I should probably take my earring out and not have hair like mine if I don't want to get so much hassle from people. So asking me to change my image and who I am just to kind of get through the day without any abuse. So you can imagine I told him to shove it up his asshole. And yeah, I still see him to this day as well sometimes, which is absolutely infuriating. But yeah, that's life. So from that point, in third year, I did my junior cert and I was already back and forth to a few different schools because I had decided, obviously, like I couldn't go there anymore. My parents had already said it to me over the years, like, please, should you move? And I would just say, no, it's fine. But yeah, fifth and sixth year, I moved to the Institute in Dublin, which was the best 2 years of my life. I've made friends that I will have forever. I still to this day will be walking down the street and I'll see people that I may not have been so close to, but we'll have a full conversation and how are you? And just for me, it was very different to be surrounded by civilized people that were brought up with respect and could speak to you. I mean, look, it never entirely went because where I live, a lot of these people are in the area. So sometimes I have to time it. Like if I want to go to a store or I want to buy lunch, sometimes I have to be careful of the time because I don't want to go and there'll be a massive group there and they'll want to throw things at my car when I'm going into the store or hurl abuse at me that's not necessary. Like you can't escape it. All of that sticks with you and it comes across in how you think about things and how you think about yourself, most importantly. And it's been really, really hard. And unfortunately, in April, a lot of things changed for me. And that kind of leads me on to the second part of this story. So, yeah. Basically, in April, I was in town with my sisters and we were shopping. And all of a sudden, I got an overwhelming feeling in my chest. Thought I was having a heart attack. I've never experienced anything like it. So I went outside, called my parents, and I was like, look, something's not right. I think I'm having a panic attack. And I wasn't really sure because I've never had anything like that. But went home, sat there for a day or two and was like, oh my God, what's going on? And from that point, right there, I was like, okay, I'm going to go talk to someone. I immediately found a therapist. I was like, I want to go. I want to talk about this. Not really sure of even why it would happen. I was just more curious about that panic attack itself. And from going to therapy, from the first session I went, like, wow, there was a lot of stuff that kind of unraveled. And I had to talk through everything that's happened to me and how tough that it's been. And even to talk about it, I would just break down because I couldn't. I'm good now, I can talk about these things, but I certainly couldn't without sitting there and crying for 20 minutes. And it's things, like I said, that I pushed to the back of my mind and I thought I dealt with them, but I never did. That actually led me to be told that I have PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, which is what I've been dealing with since April, which really, really freaked me out. I've had 20 years where my whole life has been amazing, and for all of a sudden this to happen to me, and I mean, there's been no history in my whole family. Everyone's always been good, and I've been the same. And unfortunately, this is what happens as a result of not dealing with the things that happened. So as a result of PTSD, I've had anxiety. I find it difficult to kind of hold my own in my thoughts sometimes. Things like flying, things like going for dinner, things that I love doing and I've done for my whole life, suddenly became so difficult for me. I would be someone watching these videos and I couldn't relate because nothing like this has ever happened to me or to a family member or anything like that. But I can't put into words how difficult some days have been, where it is hell. Literally, you're living hell. But on the upside, therapy and working on myself every single day at every minute has helped tremendously. It's not even that I want to get back to my old self. I want to be much better. I want to have a more positive mindset. I want to be more motivated in some ways. I'm a lot more confident in myself than I was a couple months ago. Whether it's my appearance, whether it's how I come across when I converse with people, there's just a lot of things that I've been working on and I'm seeing the progress, which is what it's all about. But all I can say is that it is so beneficial when you feel so thankful for the smallest things. Yeah, so that's where I'm currently at, and it's been like 6 months now, and the progress is definitely there, and I'm really happy. But what I would just want to finish on in talking about this is, I just want to say that these things are inevitable. There are so many kids that go through this stuff on a daily basis, and what people need to understand is it's not the bullies that you need to focus on. The bullies are always people that are brought up in dysfunctional families, or there's a parent that has something going on, or they mentally aren't there themselves, or there's something with these people. But what you need to understand is it's how you deal with the situation itself. So if you're sitting there and you see someone speaking to a victim like that, you can't sit there and not say anything. Like, because of my experience, I don't care where I am, I don't care what's going on, I will not let someone be spoken to like that, because you do not understand how that's affecting that person. Like, that could be hitting them very hard. They could be going home and thinking about this stuff for days on end, you know? And I can vouch for that, because maybe if I had someone there at the time when I was in school, where I would have 20 people at me, screaming abuse at me, shoving me, if I had one person to stand there and say, stop, what are you doing? Like, leave him alone. That could have made a huge difference to me. Yeah, so lastly, for anybody who's watching this, my aim is obviously to talk about this situation from a guy's perspective, because I know not enough guys do, and it's an ongoing thing that you see. And more guys need to talk about this stuff, because it's not a big deal. You have to talk about your feelings. It is what it is. If you're too afraid to message a family member or a friend or even me, you can go to MentalHealthIreland.ie, and there's a lot of information on there if anyone is looking for help. And please don't hesitate to get it, because it's nothing to be ashamed of. Everyone goes through things in life. You can't escape life without bumps in the road. I thought I was going to do it, and it turns out that was not going to happen. So you just need to make sure you're dealing with your own shit as proactively as you can. Excuse the language. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Please, please, please share this. I want people to see it. I want to let people know how important it is to be kind to other people and to stand up to bullies. So again, thanks for watching, and I will be back very soon with a more light-hearted vlog again, which is the true me, very happy character. And yeah, so I will be talking to you guys again soon, and have a lovely day.